Hello, I'm Ed Thompson, your host of the Genealogy Software Showcase. So, like many people during RootsTech, which was an all digital event, virtual event this year, I was watching out for new products. And one of the new products that got a lot of buzz was Goldie May. And so I reached out to the creator of Goldie May so that he could showcase his product on the Genealogy Software Showcase. Let me bring him in. And Richard, you're on screen. This is Richard M. Miller, K. Miller, sorry. Richard K. Miller of Goldie May. And welcome to the show, Richard.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. I really appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me on.
Yeah, so I was excited, so glad you accepted my invitation. So tell us a little bit about your background and how that brought you to develop Goldie May.
Cool. Okay. Well, like you, I have a software development background, and I worked at Family Link, which created a Facebook app for connecting with your family. And then later, I worked at Macavo, which was a genealogy search engine. And Macavo went on to join Find My Past, so I spent a little bit of time at Find My Past. And then coming out of those working at genealogy companies, I actually got into genealogy research more myself. And I hadn't done that before. And so as I got into research myself, I just saw a need and thought Goldie May might be able to help with, in particular, research logs and some other tools that it provides. So that's kind of how I jumped in.
And yeah, your product came out not this year, but last year in 2019?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We launched at RootsTech last year, not this year.
And what made you go with a Chrome extension as the kind of the framework?
Yeah, good question. Well, it's sort of the ability to be integrated right where you are in your research. So it's nice, I think, that whether you're working on family search tree or an ancestry tree, Goldie May, and we'll get to looking at it, is right where your research is. And so I'm not intending for Goldie May to be another place to put your research or your conclusions. Instead, it's supposed to be a way to track your work in progress. So it's trying to meet you as you're working on your tree in the browser, and as a Chrome extension, it can be there right alongside your research.
So usually the first question that I like to get answered, especially for beginners, is where do I start? So do you want to share your screen and
yeah, you bet. Let me pull that up. Go share screen. What I'll do is just pull up the goldiemay.com website. You're seeing that now, right?
Yeah. Let me make an adjustment here, and let me take myself off the screen. Let's see here. There we go. All right, now I see it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is goldiemay.com where you can learn more about it. But the idea is, as a beginner, you want to try it, you would just click on this gold button, install Goldie May for free, and it will take you to the Chrome Web Store, which is where you install Chrome extensions. And this button here would say add to Chrome, and because I already have it, it says remove from Chrome. But you would just click that button, and it's one click and then another click to give permissions, and then it's installed. And so Goldie May is this icon sitting up here in your browser. Sometimes you don't see it right away, so you need to just click on this little puzzle piece.
We can't see you pointing to that. We're cut off right at the URL bar.
Okay,
Can you drag your
pull this over a little bit.
Browser down just a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that. Is that a little better?
Yeah, there we go.
Right there? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's the little G that is where Goldie May is installed, and that's the way you access it. So that's kind of that's how you get started. And so to get going with Goldie May, you would click that button, and it will shrink the main window you're looking at and bring up the Goldie May window on the side. So now you're seeing two windows, and Goldie May on the right, your research on the left, and that's kind of the starting point, if that makes sense.
Okay. Can you make your browser just a little bit smaller?
So just that edge, bring over that
Yeah,
edge a
yeah.
little bit like that.
I'm
Is
trying
that
to
good?
keep it all on the
Right,
screen. There we go.
right there? Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay,
All right, so I've
so
got it installed. I've pushed the button. It opens up a new window. What's next?
yeah, so next, what you're seeing here is a guidance area. This is a dynamic area that changes based on whatever you're looking at. So if I go to Leonard Wilson, the guidance area starts to talk about Leonard Wilson. If I switch to William Hazelton, then it changes to match William Hazelton. So this guidance area, while you're using Goldie May, is going to be this very dynamic area that changes based on you're looking at a person, you're looking at a record, you're looking at something else. So that's what to expect there. And then the Your Research area is sort of the ongoing saved research. Here, it starts by showing a bunch of ancestors from my family search tree because I haven't started any research. And so you'll see that too when you first log in. But once I have some saved research, then I'll start to see those listed here and I can go back to them. So maybe one change I'll make here is I like to have 2 columns. So I'll pull this a little bit wider so I can see guidance on the left and my research on the right. And then I'll just shrink this a little bit here.
So just real quick, a couple of people commented that when they first opened it up, it asked them to sign in to Family Search. Is
that's
Family
right.
Search membership a requirement of the software?
Right now it is. You do need to sign in with Family Search. In the future, I'm open to offering another login option. And then once you're logged in with Family Search, you don't need to use a Family Search tree. So if I, for example, switch over to Leonard Wilson in a ancestry tree, then it offers to start a new objective for Leonard Wilson from ancestry. So once you log in with Family Search, then you can just, turn left and head over to ancestry and do all your research from there.
Okay, great.
So should I just keep going with
keep going.
creating? Okay, yeah. So the idea is that you want to start a new objective. So I want to do some research project for Leonard Wilson, and maybe I just want to learn more about his life. So I'm just going to give this a name and click Start. And now you'll notice that Your Research area has this objective pulled up. And so this is my reminder of what I'm working on. That's one thing, I can stay focused on what I'm researching. But then I get a bunch of options here to work with Leonard Wilson. The first of which is the research log. So if I'm doing research, I can choose to log this page. And so it's now logged the page on the left into the research log on the right. And so if I were to click this link, it would come back to the page I'm seeing. And then you get some kind of social media like controls, like I want to like this, I want to dislike this. Why would you dislike something? Well, you expected something to be there and it wasn't. It was a negative result. So I'm going to say dislike. And then you can comment on it, leave a little note to yourself. And so you get these options to annotate what you're looking at. And so let me go into, for example, a source. And let's go to just Iowa marriages for him. And I'll choose log this page. So now I put that in my log as well. I've got an option to add an abstract or summary. So I could say, this is I could type out, this is the marriage of Jeanette Hazelton to E.E. Wilson. And it lists, am I talking about a marriage or no, I'm talking about, Iowa marriages. And then it lists 3 other people in the record. So I could write that out as the abstract or summary and have that later for my reference. So, in a way, this is intended to be a replacement for pen and paper. Maybe normally I would have a piece of paper and I'm scribbling down little things about what I'm seeing, but instead I can log everything I see, write down comments or abstract or summary about it, and then it's all in one place. And, I alluded to this before, but the idea is that you can exit out of your research and, log out of Goldie May. Later, when I come back to it, open up Goldie May again, click the objective, and now I'm right back where I started. And so it's really easy to pick up where you left off. And because the data is stored in the cloud, that if you go to someone else's computer, you'll go to the library when we can all go back to libraries, then I can log into Goldie May and all my research has traveled with me and I can pick up my research anywhere. So
when you log this page, what are you logging? What information are you capturing?
Yeah, great question. So for a lot of pages, it's just the URL and title. So that's what you're seeing here. There are certain family search records that it can recognize as records, and will pick up those. We'll pick those up and put a citation in for you. So you'll see that this is not one of them, but if you'll go to, let's see here. I think it's not coming up, but what it'll be is there's a citation button where you can write your own citation. And in the cases of records that it can pick up a citation for, it will copy the citation off the page over to the log for you, and then you'll see that as a citation there.
Okay.
So it's URL, title, citation where possible, and currently supporting family search record citations and ancestry citations. And then in the cases where it's not supported to do that automatically, then you could write your own citation, and in the future I'll support more Find a Grave or other places where the idea is that if there's a citation on the page, like under document information, then I want to capture that for you so you don't have to copy and paste it yourself, and then you get the value of kind of keeping all these in one place.
So looking at the Goldie May page, what's a task?
A task, good question. So I'll go to the task list. It's a task list that you can add to, but it starts with several tasks for you. The idea being that let me give you some hints, and maybe you're a intermediate to advanced researcher. You don't need all these hints, and that's fine. You could just delete the things that don't help you. But one thing that I run into is I forget to go look at the timeline. So if I were to go look at the family search timeline, I might learn something about where he lived and where he migrated, and that might give me some ideas about where to look, and I just forget to do it. So Goldie May is reminding me to do that, look at the timeline, and similarly review the research helps that already exist. If family search will give you some hints on what to do, we ought to just look at them and make sure we're not missing something. So those are the tasks you get at first. There's also some tasks related to the place he lived. So it says, for example, that Leonard J. Wilson died in Madison County, Iowa. So you get the option to click Madison County and then open Madison County in the Family Search Wiki or the Family Search Catalog or the Family History Guide. So the idea is that you may have used the wiki before. It's a great place to learn about the places you're researching. Instead of having to open up the Family Search Wiki and then type in Madison County, Iowa, it's taking you directly there because it knows that he died in Madison County. And so I could, of course, scroll down and say, okay, it looks like they started keeping civil death records in 1880. He died in 1921. So, okay, maybe there's a good chance that I would be able to find a death record for him if I haven't found that already. And so it's giving you, just a little bit of a boost to go find information. So you'll see that for counties, Sharon County, Madison County or Iowa, you get some state level resources, and then you'll also get some country level resources as well. So that's one set of hints. And then, in the case of the US, this is a person that lived in the US and Canada. And so it's hinting tasks for both. So it's saying that, he was born in 1830. And so, hey, let's check the 1830 census. Well, he's just a newborn at that time, and the 1830 census doesn't list women or children, but maybe we can look for the head of household. And so it's giving me all the US censuses all the way up until 1920, right before he died. And it's also giving me the Canada census for the range of his lifespan. So I can check the 1831 Lower Canada census all the way up to 1921 Canada census. And the idea there is that I'm going to get links directly to those things. So say I want to check the 1850 US Census, I can choose to search on Family Search or Ancestry, pop over to Family Search in this case, and it's searching directly inside the 1850 census. And now I'm not worried about whether I'm searching all of Family Search records. I can look directly in the 1850 collection, and I know that I'm looking for a 20-year-old. So that really helps to kind of know who I'm looking for at that time. And so there's a link to Family Search or Ancestry. You can pull up either of those census records. And then as we're going through this demo, you're seeing both free and paid features of Goldie May. And so one of the features you can pay to upgrade is an auto search of Family Search or Ancestry. And in that case, if I click the link, it automatically enters in the information for you. Leonard J. Wilson, born in 1830. And then, right off the bat, I can see results without having to type anything. So that's the idea so far. Maybe I should take a little break to see if you have any questions or comments, but that's the task list so far.
We have a few questions. Jan wants to know if this works for research other than individuals.
Not yet. Right now, that's a great question. Right now, it does require you to choose someone to get started. So if you wanted to choose yourself and then just sort of ignore the hints and kind of go from there, that'd be fine. But in the future, I will allow you to start an objective with no people or multiple people. If you're, in the case of a family you're researching, or if you want to just search a place and you don't want to attach it to any one person, then that will be possible in the next couple months.
Great. David wants to know if this works for records in places outside the U.S.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's the strongest in the U.S. so far, and then it's sort of a continuum of support for other countries. So there are, I call these links collection hints. So you can go to the collection hints tab to see all of those in one place. There are collection hints for the U.S. and Canada, England, Scotland, kind of the countries of the U.K. Those are where the collection hints are. So maybe 5 or 6 countries total that are supported. And then as far as linking to the wiki for, I went into USA here and I can click over to the USA article of the Family Search Wiki and these other links. That works for about 15 countries. So
and is that a limitation of the tool, or is that Family Search?
That's a limitation of the tool at the moment. Okay. So that's me just needing to, I want to get to all of it eventually, but
I know what that's like.
You know what that's like. Yeah. And so, maybe for some country like Brazil, I would love to be able to support that. There isn't a every decade census in Brazil. So, if I were doing collection hints for Brazil, it'd be more like check the civil registry, check the Catholic records. And so I want to get to that eventually where I give you nice hints about other countries and other records, but so far it's about 5 or 6 countries.
And then we have a lot of questions about, can I export my data? Can I share my data? How do I get my data out of?
Yeah, great question. So that is at the bottom of the research log. There's export log as CSV. So I can click that and it will just save the entire log as a CSV file. It doesn't include all the data yet, but just because I haven't finished that part. But for example, if I leave a comment, hello and hello too, right now, if I were to export this log, it would say that I have 2 comments on this entry, but it doesn't include the text of the comments yet. So there's some small cases like that where not all of the data is exported yet, but that's a matter of time.
Do I need to do that step page by page?
No, this is for the entire log. So you could have hundreds of pages,
okay.
Each with 10 entries, and it would export the whole log. So
could you
CSV.
Open that in Excel?
Let me
see what it looks like. I know a lot of people love Excel.
Yeah, I've got numbers in my case. Let me do that.
So I've got a couple people who have been able to use Edge with the extension.
Yeah, that's right. That's Edge does work. So here's the log. You're seeing URL, title, abstract, comments count. That's kind of the summary version of it.
Okay. Let's see. There was another question. Could Richard talk about the search playlist?
Yeah. Okay. That's a great question. Oh, and Okay, let's talk search playlists. So let me go to, I'm going to open up an ancestor who, this is a real problem for me, is that the Hazeltons lived at the boundary of 3 counties in Illinois. So Putnam County, Bureau County, Marshall County. And so you're looking for records, and you're like, which county should I search in? They're kind of spread across these 3 counties as an extended family. And so search playlist is the idea that I intended to help with that. So let's say, let me go out of this and go back and do a new objective for check the counties. So that's go into this William Henry Hazelton. So say you're looking in 1850 U.S. Census and family search. And so you're looking for this William Hazelton, and you know that he resided in, well, maybe Bureau County, Illinois. And we'll put that it was in 1850. So I want to search that, but it's not the only search I want to run. I kind of wish I could type in Bureau County or, and put Marshall County and Putnam County. Search playlist solves that for you by saying, instead of clicking the blue button for search, I'll click this gold button, add this search to search playlist. And now it's saved over here in this search playlist tab. And I can go back here now and modify my search before I've even run it and say, add to search playlist. And I'll just add this 3rd county, Putnam County. And now I've got all these searches queued up. And so the idea is that maybe it's helpful to separate my thinking about which searches I want to run from the act of evaluating the searches. Because sometimes if if I were to just jump into Bureau County right away and go down the rabbit hole of checking every result, I might come back later and think, like, did I forget something? Did I remember to do all the counties? So the idea with search playlists is, let me think about all the things first, kind of like a music playlist. I'm going to just think about all the music I want to listen to. And then, okay, playlist is done. Now let's go play it. And so the idea is I can just click these links and open up all these searches separately. And I have different tabs that I'm going to go evaluate the searches one by one. So I don't know if that answers it all for you, but that's the idea of the search playlist.
Do you get any pushback because the data is saved in the cloud? And which cloud is it saved to?
So it's saved to a server that a Goldie May server. People ask about it, but I haven't felt a lot of pushback about it. I guess for me, the benefits are that you get to access it anywhere, and it's encrypted and kind of follows best practices for web apps. But for me, I find it useful that your data is saved in one place. And then, it's yours to delete if you want it. It's yours to export if you want to. And, I'm hoping that the benefits outweigh any of the costs or the concerns.
Which cloud provider are you using?
DigitalOcean is the one.
Okay.
If you know that one.
Yeah, I have heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they an Amazon reseller? I mean, are they basically on top of Amazon, or?
They aren't in Amazon. They're their own data center and provider, and I think they just went public this week. In fact, so they've grown fast, and they're just going public now.
Mike asked, "What about exporting citations?" So we didn't have an example of citations, but are those exported as part of the export?
They are, yeah. I think in my demo account here, I'm running with not the pro version of Goldie May. And so, so I think that's why you're not seeing it. But yeah, the idea is that you would, whenever you save a citation, it would be included in the log too. So that's one of the main benefits for sure.
So Lewis is struggling a bit. Can't figure out the exact order necessary for logging the page, viewing the person, viewing the source, adding page to tasks. So what's kind of like your workflow when you're using the tool?
So typical workflow for me would be, I did this morning because I did some genealogy this morning. I would come into an objective like this and say, okay, I want to work on Leonard J. Wilson. So I'll click on the objective. Okay, I'm back in there. Now, what did I work on yesterday? Well, maybe the task list is going to help me because I can go to the bottom of the task list and, usually I'll have some other task added here, like check for a death record in such and such place. And so maybe I'll say like, okay, I'm going to pick up the death record and work on that one next. But yeah, for me, it'd be checking off things in the task list. That helps keep me on task. And then, if that's not quite helping me, then maybe I would come over to the research log and just review something that, review what I've looked at. Now, once your research log is really big, multiple pages, hundreds of entries, then you're not going to want to just browse through it. But you can search. So you can say, hey, find me everything from familysearch.org, or find me everything from ancestry.com. That's one way to search. And then there's also a summary tab. So you can come over here and just kind of see a summary of all the things in your log. So, okay, I want to see all the family search tree pages. Okay, that's one. Or I want to come back here and see everything I've commented on. And so that for me, that's kind of how it would look like. Getting reoriented is looking at the task list, looking at the log, looking at what I've commented on, what have I liked, and then maybe I pick up that context of what I'm working on, and then I can jump back into to researching, and then yeah, I guess for me it's like what censuses haven't I looked at? I'm going to look up those. I could go to the places tab, and maybe I want to just follow the outline of his life. Okay, if I'm looking for a death record near the end of his life, maybe I want to open up Madison County to the Family Search catalog and just look through, is there anything death related in the catalog that I haven't seen before? Okay, maybe I go to Vital Records and go, okay, death records, Iowa, like that's the right time range. Haven't looked at that one. I could right click this and choose Goldie May and choose create task from link. So now I've just added that link to my task list. You'll see this at the bottom, death records, 1880, 1935. I can click that there, and then, and you probably know the routine from here, which is I can search or browse or whatever, but this kind of helps me make sure that I'm not forgetting anything.
So it looks like everything's organized under a person, and the pump is kind of primed based on that first page you hit about the person. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, that is exactly right. Yeah. And that, one of your viewers asked, when can we support no users or multiple users? And that's why there's some complexity there, because I'll have to change the task list to say, if you're looking at this person, then look at these records. If you're looking at this other person, look at these other records. And so I'll have to handle that, but that's the idea. Yeah. With the focus right now being on one user only, then I can give you kind of exact links to certain things about his time, his or her timeline or his lifespan, and the places that he or she lived.
Lewis says, I like the places tab. So
thank you.
He likes that feature. Are there other things you want to show us?
Yeah, maybe I'll show you. I just turned on behind the scenes here. I turned on this account, so it's a pro account. So you'll now see this new icon that says Show Citation, and so it's this little bookmark tab. And let me go to go down to this Leonard Wilson marriage one that I showed you before. Okay, now you're seeing the citation that you weren't seeing before. So I had previously logged this page. It's an Iowa marriage. It copy and pasted this link, this citation from the Family Search page over for you. And so I just wanted to show you that that's what it looks like. It's got the full citation. And then if you were to export it, you would, you'd see that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One other thing you might want to see is that you can, you'll want to see screenshots. So let me show you that. I'm just going to open up a page here to one of the images they offer. Let me just pick one at random here. So say you've found your ancestor here. This is really helpful. You can right click on the page and choose take a screenshot, and then draw a box around that part of the screen. And then that screenshot will be saved to the log. You'll see it here, and I can click it to make it bigger. And there's this option too to pop out that particular entry into a separate window. So I can click this, and now I've got that little piece of my log in a separate window. And so, think of the times that you print out something because you want to compare it to something in the tree. Well, now you don't need to print something because you take a screenshot, whether that's an image or text, pop it out into its own little window, and then I can go back over to the tree and compare what do my vital facts say compared to what this record says. So you get that kind of split view or multiple window view that helps you compare a bunch of records. And again, maybe it's replacing pen and paper because you don't need to scribble something down and refer back to it down on your desk. You can just keep it right on screen where you can compare it side by side. So that's that feature. Probably worth mentioning too, the Workspaces feature. And so the idea here is that, while we've been talking, we've accumulated all these tabs. It looks like there's 20 tabs there in this other window. You can save all of those by clicking Save Current Windows and Tabs. And so it says we've just saved Workspace 1, and we could say this was our call with Ed. And, it's got all of these tabs saved. So kind of an alternative to the log. Your log is maybe what you're used to as a genealogist, where it's step-by-step, in order, time kind of thing. But if you also want to save, hey, like I've got these 20 tabs open and now I'm heading to lunch, I don't want to lose my work. I've just saved all of those windows. And, window 2 is this other thing. So I could close all these windows and click open all 22 tabs, and it would just bring all of them back. So it's bringing back everything in the original position it was in. And so if you have a bunch of windows open all over your screen while you're doing some comparison, then it will bring all of those right back. So that's a feature worth talking about.
Yeah, really. I think for some of our viewers, you went a little fast on the screen capture.
Yeah, okay. Let me back up and...
including myself, I don't remember what button you pushed.
Okay, yeah, let me just back up to that. Great question. Okay, so we're looking at something like this. So it was just a right click. My cursor is just over the image, and I right clicked and then chose take a screenshot.
Okay, and because it's an extension, it's right in the browser.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a case where, gosh, that's so helpful to have it right in the browser. Yeah. So take a screenshot, and then the cursor turns to crosshairs, and then I can just click on an area, drag the mouse, and then release. And then that goes over to the research log, but it's right there. That was on the same page, so now we see 2 images from the same page.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you've got the citation to go with it, so
got the citation to go with it.
You haven't lost where the data came from.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe someone will ask, but does export log include the images? Not yet. It will soon, but not yet.
Okay. Catherine's asking, how would we use your tool, Goldie May, with my tool, Evidentia? Catherine, this tool is so new to me. I mean, I didn't hear about it until RootsTech. I'd have to put some thought into that, about what kind of that process would be. Right now, I think it'd be cut and paste, to be honest with you. But maybe, Richard, you and I can have a discussion once I get the version that shall not be named released. Start looking at maybe some sharing of data between us.
Yeah, because I assume that if if you were to export the log here and then import it into Evidentia, there'd be some way to divvy up, these links go over here, these links go over there. They belong to different people. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be a conversation for the future. I'm very keen on doing more integrations once I have version 4 as a base.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Let's see, what other questions do we have? I'm holding back the number, the big question. But let's talk about it. The elephant in the room. What do I get free and what do I have to pay for?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. So it's all on goldiemay.com. If you'll scroll down to this pricing area, you'll see that it's kind of scrolled off the screen, these
Yep,
three.
you're good. You're good.
So yeah, the free plan includes the automatic research log. I didn't even mention that, did I? But the idea there is that if you click this switch, automatic logging, then whatever you go to, if I just go to google.com or Chrome Web Store, give it 2 seconds, and then that will show up in your log. So that's automatic logging, meaning
I had a log of my Amazon shopping when I first tried the tool and forgot to turn
yeah, and I like it. I like the logging because it's sort of like, hey, I'm just going to log everything I do. I can figure it out later. If you end up logging your Amazon shopping or whatever it is, you can just search for Amazon and then choose delete all those pages from Amazon. But so yeah, that automatic research log is included for free. Collaborative genealogy is free. Collection hits are free. Export to CSV is free. So I'm trying to give a lot of value for in the free plan so that you can still feel like, okay, it's still worth using. Even if I don't pay for anything, I can still log everything I'm doing, export it to CSV. And, I didn't mention here, but this includes screenshots too. So I need to put that in there, but that I'm wanting to give you a lot of value for even the free plan. But then if you go ahead and upgrade to the plus plan, you get the workspaces management, which I showed you, place lookups I could show you. And I guess I won't read this for you, but you can read this list for yourself. Most of the features that are paid are included in the plus plan. And then what's unique about the pro plan is the citations. So if you want to be able to edit your own citations, have them automatically pulled over from Ancestry and Family Search for you, export those to a log. Everything related to citations is the kind of big addition in the pro plan over the plus plan. So, feel free to email me if that doesn't answer the question, but that's the kind of summary version.
Bob wants to know if there's a way to order the items you capture, put in chronological order, for instance. Like, could you sort those images? Can you sort the different log entries?
There's not right now. That's a great question. I'd be open to talking about that, and you could email me. My email address is down here, richard@goldiemay.com. We could talk about that. Right now, it's just chronological, so you're seeing the time off to the side.
Chronological based on when you captured it.
Yeah, that's right. With most recent at the top. And then so you'd go back. The filtering might give you a little bit of what you want there, because you can say, summary page, show me all of the, by domain, show me everything from Google. And so it's not the same sorting, but it's filtering. But yeah, if that doesn't meet your needs, I'm open to talking about what else we could do there.
Cool. So what is your workflow? And what I mean by that is, so you've captured this information in Goldie May. I assume that you've got a family tree database program of some sort. Hopefully
I don't actually, Ed. Maybe I'm unique in that regard, but I'm a family search tree guy. So
so everything you do is on Family Search.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Highly recommended desktop program, but that's personal thing.
Yeah. And there's so many to choose from. I'd have to research those options and look at that.
Miss Chica 3000, on the pro plan, does it make citations according to the place you are at, family search style or ancestry style, or can it make any citation into evidence explained style? I think I know the answer, but I'll let you answer that, Richard.
Well, yeah, I'm in the case of family search and ancestry, it's just copying what it sees in the page over for you. So if the style they use isn't what you want, then you could edit that, of course, but it's using what's provided there. So
but you do at least have a place to start from if you
and you could go in here and edit however you want there. And then in the case of pages that don't include a citation like this, this Google search I did, I could just go in there and add a citation, and it's got a little, let me type right there. So yeah, I'm open to that. If that's feedback I'd love to get too. If you want to email me, I'd love to hear you say, this would be really useful if it did I really need to have the citations this way for this reason, and I'd be totally open to working
Yeah,
on
I
that
think
with
that
you.
the challenge there for you as the creator is figuring out which template applies. You know, whatever template you use, and then where on that page is that information you need to populate the template.
Yeah, that's right.
That's I don't think our AI code is quite there yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on that. If there's some way to mechanically say, hey, I always need the title to come after the URL or something, and we could look at that, but I think you're right, Ed. It's not going to be it won't write it for you, will it?
It will not, and believe me, I've tried. Lewis, where is it storing its data? Lewis, he said it was storing it in the cloud. And say the name of the cloud provider again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, DigitalOcean.
DigitalOcean. Yeah. And that's what makes it portable. It lets you open it up anywhere. You can get to a browser and log into Family Search.
That's right.
Melanie says, I have the Pro plan, so I just copy and paste the citation used by Family Search or Ancestry. Yeah. To be honest with you, I've started doing that myself. I think that the citations that Family Search provides are actually pretty good. I think the ones that Ancestry provides are inconsistent. Sometimes you get a really good one, and sometimes it's like, what is this telling me? I don't understand what this is telling me. But yeah, so your mileage may vary, but at least on Family Search, I've been happy with their citation format.
Yeah.
So, what other questions do we have? I've been using this off and on since Research Like a Pro had a special about this program. I need to be using it again for my research. It does make capturing information easier.
Thanks. That's great to hear.
Rebecca says it's also easy to go back through my search history. That's when we were talking about the using the information. Jan, I have a big list of Family Search microfilms where I need to get images from particular FHC, only films for multiple people once I'm at the center. How can Goldie May help me?
Yeah, that's something I've thought about before. So I'd love to hear from you, for one, to just hear more about your workflow, but I've wondered that too, whether there ought to be some kind of special task list for all the things that are at the library that I need to check once I'm there. So it's something I haven't resolved yet, but it's something I'm thinking about.
Okay, excellent. Let me ask this as if I were Jan. So, when are you going to integrate with MyHeritage?
Well, good question.
When are you going to integrate with Find My Past?
Yeah, you've seen how there's kind of varying degrees of good question. You've seen there's varying degrees of integration, right? So like currently it requires a Family Search login, but then once you're there, you can start your research from the Family Search tree or from an Ancestry tree. Other trees aren't supported yet. I had someone request WikiTree, so maybe in the future I'd be able to support the other trees that are out there. Maybe that would be less necessary if I just let you create an objective without any person, right? You could just create your own objective and then go over to MyHeritage and use their tree. But I should point out that anything you log is works, right? Like, so if I go to myheritage.com and I'm not signed in here, but if I have automatic logging turned on and I'm browsing various records, those will be logged. So all the big four websites are supported in the log, and as well as any small website on the internet. So if you were to go to some small, Illinois, some certain county and city genealogy society webpage, all of that can be logged as well. So in some ways, you're not kept from using anything across the internet for your log, for your screenshots, and for your task list. So maybe that's the big stuff. In the future, maybe I'll be able to support, more trees, so that the things like collection hints that say, what are the collections that were available during this person's lifetime, then I could support those too. But yeah, right now it's just the two trees for those features.
And I think so to clarify the last question about needing to look at microfilms, I think
Yeah.
if I'm painting the picture right, if I wanted to use Goldie May as a kind of a complete research log solution, how would I, the question would be, how would I capture physical evidence, where I'm actually, it's in a book that I have in my hand, or it's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not digital,
Okay.
non-digital assets.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking of it as something like, yeah, you
I did
need
too.
access at
Yeah,
something in the library.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a great question. Currently there's no way to get images into Goldie May. In a way, I don't want to be the final resting place for images. I'd rather those go in your family tree program, whichever you use, or the family search tree or ancestry tree or something like that. So as far as kind of like a repository for all those images, I don't have a good answer on that yet. But if it's a matter of, I need to just be able to see these from my work. I've taken these pictures from the library. I need to see them. Well, then maybe you do something like put them in Google Photos, and you log into your Google account into Google Photos. All your photos are right there, and then you can log certain links into your log.
yeah, that would be.
Any of these, yeah, any page, even if it's behind a login, will still be, you can screenshot it and log it or whatever. So maybe that's the way to kind of keep it together with your other research. And maybe Ed, you've got other ideas on that too, but that's kind of what comes to mind.
I can ponder that. Louis Kessler, who by the way is another software creator, he has a desktop program and some DNA tools. He said, "Don't try to support everything you can't." And I will tell you, you want to support the big guys. MyHeritage, Family Search, Ancestry, and then somebody else will throw out 5 or 6 others. As soon as they start changing their page design, how you're capturing data has to change, right? Is that true in terms of, if they change the tag that's storing the citation, for instance, you'd have to update the program to look for it slightly differently.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Good
thought. I appreciate that.
Certainly the value of the product goes up the more services you support, but your cost of upkeep also goes up.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's good feedback.
For the Jan's saying she was talking about the digital microfilms. Laura says a yearly payment option would be nice.
Oh yeah, that is there if you just switch to this yearly billing tab. So it's 2 months free if you pay by the year.
Okay, excellent. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Rebecca, for answering that question. Louis wants to know how you're saving the family search login credentials.
I'm not saving them if I'm understanding your question correctly. So
you have to log in every time for every session.
Oh, it's using their cookie policy, which I think is if you're inactive for 30 minutes or something, I think it's going to log out.
So they recently upgraded. The Evidentia right now saves the credentials and encrypts the password. Because that was the only option they gave us at the time. And they've gone to an OAuth 2 model, which is a great model. I haven't upgraded Evidentia yet to support it, but that's probably what you're using, and that's a much better solution. I got into
that's right. I'm using OAuth 2, so I don't need to save your password. It'll just
I had a big discussion with them about OAuth 2 for desktop programs, and they thought it was a security risk. And I tried to explain to them that actually, no, desktop would be better served by OAuth 2 more than your web-based stuff would be. But they wouldn't budge on that at the time. They've I guess, conceded that point now.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. This is a case where, Goldie May is both a desktop Chrome extension and a web app, because this panel is a web app. And but the Chrome extension does relatively little compared to what the web app does. and the login happens on the web app side. So, your password never passes through Goldie May. It just goes directly to Family Search.
So we've acknowledged that it'll work with Edge because Edge uses the same Chrome engine that Chrome uses. Any plans to support Firefox or Safari?
Yeah, that's a request I've gotten a few times, several times at RootsTech this year. And I'm a Safari user myself, and so I switched over to Chrome for genealogy research. I would love for it to work with Safari, and so yeah, I'm considering that.
Talk with
Firefox
the developer
too.
about that. Maybe you could do it.
Sorry, what was
Talk
that?
with the developer about that. Maybe he could do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
So Lewis geeks out like I do. I just as a curiosity, what language did you use, or what framework did you write this in?
Yeah, this is so the Chrome extension is JavaScript, predictably, and then the web app is Ruby on Rails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like we've answered most of the questions. Let me just give me 1 second. So I'm gonna switch us back to split screen mode.
Okay.
There we go. And I need to.
Tell me if
can you
let me turn off. Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go. All right. This has been great.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for all the questions
from the community, and you've got some solid answer. Which feature, and you can just describe it, you don't have to demo it, but which feature are you most proud of?
Well, that's a good question. Workspaces is a recent one that's been helpful to me. Just having a bunch of tabs open and being able to save them. I didn't show you collaboration, so that's one that's really new, but I'm excited for it because you can say, I want to share my research with, in my case, Ed, and I can send you a little invite code, and you go to Goldie May and put in the invite code, and it has you join my objective. So now we can both log to the same objective, and we can leave comments for each other. So then you get a little bit more of a social media feel to your research because and I've tried this a little bit with my mom. She's a genealogist, and so I've been able to pull her into an objective and say, hey, what do you think about this? Does this look like it's enough evidence to show that so-and-so is the son of, so-and-so? And it's nice to have two people looking at the records. That's one I'm excited about.
And I almost forgot to ask this question. I had it too, Robin. Why is it called Goldie May?
Hey, great question. Yeah. So Goldie was my great-grandmother.
Okay.
So she was the last of my great-grandparents alive, and I knew her up until I was 22 or so. And then May comes from my wife's side of the family.
Okay.
So we decided to put two names together and go with it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today and answering all our questions. You definitely have a winning product.
Thank you.
I don't know what else is going to be coming out this year from other creators, but it may be one of the best products to come out this year. Well, you came out 2 years ago, but you're really hitting all cylinders now. And,
hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, that means a lot coming from you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ed.
So I'm going to switch us over here for a couple of questions I want to have, there we go. So that's it for this episode. Next week, I'm going to take a look at programs that generate website pages so that you can have your own genealogy website. And I'll be looking at our standard set of desktop genealogy tools because most of them can generate website pages. And then the week after that, Darren, the creator of TNG, TNG, the next, I always get the name wrong, so I'm not going to butcher it. TNG, which is a website management tool where you can manage your own website. So those will be the themes that we'll be covering the next couple of episodes. But I want to thank our guest, Richard K. Miller, for being with us. And I want to thank you all for some great questions. We'll post Richard's email address on a bathroom wall somewhere, and also on the on the description in the YouTube video. And that's it for this episode of the Genealogy Software Showcase. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.